So hello and welcome back to the layout New Junction, my double O gauge East Coast mainline themed model railway. Now, as you can see, I've got trains running on the mainline because today is going to be an exciting day. Not only because trains are running, but because the Catenary is going on this section. I have finally decided on a brand of masts. It's not all plain sailing, which I'll explain in a bit, but it should change the overall look of this half of the mainline, which is something we've been putting off for some time. So, as you can see, I've brought the 803 to a stop, mainly because it's very noisy and you won't be able to hear me talk. But as you can see on the layout, I have got two plywood masts. Now, these are kits sold by keymodelworld.com. They're PGM kits, so the same people who make my tunnel portals, the Thirsk station and the platforms, etc. So it felt like a logical choice. Now, this isn't a perfect scenario for me because these are Mark II masts, which are more commonly seen on the West Coast mainline. However, you do see them on the East Coast mainline now, and particularly the Midland mainline. We're getting a lot of these, particularly the single arm type. So two types for the first half of the layout. You've got the single arm type, which goes over double track, and then the two mast for 4 tracks. Now, where it's not perfect is I want the East Coast mainline headspans, which are very spindly and so far have defeated a lot of the companies who make overhead catenary masts. So for the time being, that has eluded us, and that's all we're going to get. So I have decided to go with these. Typically someone will release headspans now. I've done this, but yeah, you make them up very simply, and then the bits that drop down, I can't remember for the life of me what they're called, are made very cleverly with a jig. So yeah, nice and simple kit. So the next job for me is to just put them in position and see what we think. And there we go. I believe I made that harder than it needed to be, putting them up. I thought I'd try and use spare magnets I've got to sort of hold them in position, because obviously the masts, as they are, have to come back off, and they have to be well, positioned properly, but they also have to be painted, so they have to be sealed first with some sealant, and then they will take paint. You have to be very careful with sort of applying MDF kits, because the burnt edges can act as a wick for paint and just absorb it and absorb it, so you have to seal them first. Anyway, in terms of the view, I think it's looking all right. One question I need to explore actually, is when you've got 4 tracks that split like this, are the masts on opposite sides or are they in the middle pointing out? That's an interesting one. I need to actually explore that as an answer. I don't think I've ever seen them on 4 tracks that split yet. But no, I think apart from them having to come slightly closer together, it's looking quite good. And yeah, it's definitely the effect I wanted. It will make manual track cleaning a bit more difficult, so I might have to start saving up for a CMX track cleaner. But no, it's looking very effective, particularly with the 158 passing underneath. You will notice I've not dared to put the 803 back on just yet, because if any of these masts fall over, that's a catastrophe waiting to happen. But no, I think that's really good, and yeah, the desired effect. Talking of getting the desired effect, let me take you over there to the right hand side to the heritage line. Whee! That was the disaster we were averting. That was lucky. I should probably just stick these in. So take 2, the mast is now back up. If I bring you to the heritage line, so I left you last time telling you I was doing lots of washes with the ammo track washes between the blacks and the track wash, which is a sort of rusty brown, and then enamel thinners. As you can see, that is still in progress, but you can see the colour of the track is definitely starting to turn. I've not done this line yet because I want to show you a comparison. Now, some of the areas, like here, look very, very dark. Now, that's just because the ballast is still wet, but as it's drying, you can start to see how the ballast itself is taking on the colour. And as it dries, it gets more and more subtle. So this is still relatively fresh and relatively wet. But yeah, you can see how it's really coming on. I've currently done a level of 1 layer of brown and 1 layer of black in the gaps. And yeah, starting to build up nicely. It will look more and more convincing the darker it gets. So the darker it gets, the more and more convincing it'll get. And I'll bring you a full update on how this goes and how to do it once I achieve something I'm pleased with. But yeah, I thought I'd bring you just a little update on the heritage line while I'm stood here. And also, I'm working on this area behind the scenes. So I've caught up with my walling. So all these bits are available via rail stuff. And I've given him a few more wall kits. I have been working on doing a single track road crossing for here to go underneath the mainline bridge. And I picked up at the Chatham show 2 of these bridge sides, because I thought these would look really nice. I painted them obviously with my pens, but they'd look really nice above, and we'll make a nice scene and we'll blend them in with further wall pieces. I think that'll look quite smart. But that's a job for another day. But I thought I'd keep you in the loop of how we're going. So behind the scenes, track's being weathered, crossings being done, and hopefully we'll be able to join the scene up very soon and very quickly. Not to mention the ballast on the top level to match down below. Plus, of course, all these masts now need painting. So welcome to my office. Now, this is the layout computer. Now, it's an old computer I have requisitioned for tasks here on the layout. Now, I'm doing one of these tasks as we speak. You can see, hopefully you can see, that something is loading. Now, what I'm doing is to set the scene. A couple of weeks ago, I purchased from Helgen.com one of their West Coast Railways Class 33s. And I think this was £99 at the time, and I believe it was one of the last ones. And you may notice it doesn't have a chassis. Now, it does have a chassis. I have completed the very difficult task of removing the body, for those who know. And I have decided to upgrade the speakers in the Loco and the sound file. So the first things first is I acquired one of these 3D printed fuel tank speakers. So you take off the model fuel tank and then you replace it with a speaker which is in a 3D printed fuel tank, and it just basically slots in the same position. Now the 33 itself comes with two sugar cube speakers, and they are dwarfed in both volume and terms of quality by the larger speaker. Now the speaker itself comes from Al Sounds, cheap and cheerful, and as good as ready to go, bar a couple of tabs of solder. The next phase, though, is not only have I upgraded the speaker and the sound quality on the model, but I'm also upgrading the sound file while I'm going through all this. Now, this is basically what I'm doing right now. So what I've got is down here is my ESU lock programmer. Now, a lock programmer, for those who don't know, you can control basically everything on a chip in terms of sort of lighting functions, acceleration, deceleration, how a loco performs, how a loco sounds, in terms of bass and treble. You can change them live, etc. from a programming track like this. And you can also buy aftermarket sound files to suit your preference. So some are better than others. Yeah, it adds a whole new dimension to customizing your model. The engine man, Jamie Goodman, who does a lot of sound files generally, I got that from enginemandcc.com. I think from memory they're sort of £15 or something for a new sound file, and they are excellent, simple as that. And it's always worth, if you're ever going to upgrade speakers, just looking around what kind of sound files you can get. Now, I'm waffling. What I'm doing right now is I'm actually writing the new sound file, which comes as a file, and then you upload it via the computer, via the lock programmer, to the DCC chip, which is just a lock pilot chip. And yeah, it's a case of I'm just going to bore you to death talking to you while this decoder is uploading. So the new sound file is loaded, and I'm just turning on F7, which is drive hold, and then I'm going to test it. So in theory, this should sound fairly good. Now already I can tell it's much louder, obviously coming from the new speaker. See what a bit of power does. And I have to say, I think I'm going to have to turn it down because it was quite loud. I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the camera. I'll turn that off. And one of the really good features about updating the sound file is also the functions change. So for example, on this sound file, F2 is the active brake, which you're probably used to with more high-end models. Yeah, now we get a bit more play value as well. So I'm going to put this back together now, and hopefully we'll see it very soon on the layout in a running session. But I wanted to just show you one of the background jobs that I also do, along with all the scenic work. And there we go. As you can see, the preliminary masts are in. They really do need to come off the layout now before something falls over and really causes some damage. Yeah, no, I think it really changes the scene. It doesn't overcrowd it too much, which is what I was worried about. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And hopefully you've enjoyed this short weekly update. I'm trying to do them a bit more regularly, particularly in the short term, because you seem to enjoy them. So thank you very much to you at home for watching. Of course, thank you to the channel members and patrons for your support. And I look forward to bringing you the next video very soon, because as you can see, lots of work going on here at New Junction. Right, and don't forget, if you really want to keep up with the progress, hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.